You won't believe what happens next. Forrest drags a tree while speeding away at Jenny's call, just like he's in a horse race. He became like a superhero, leaving all his pursuers in the dust. From that day on, anywhere Forrest thought of going, he was off like a rocket. Times O pound they tilde divide by A3 O out until the letter CBD O out. You not sign Cyrillic letter 4V3 Icar times divide by letter 3CA paragraph O circumflex I circumflex G circumflex qua I out dead degrees Chinese letter O out A tilde acute acute I out half pound not sign symbol 36C H hit plus or minus pound 3 area times L micro I is circumflex small cap 10 O grove Armenians O circumflex Cyrillic letter 4E7 I circumflex qua until the letter GBD pound. R0 y cute r a quarter r cube resemble the scene straight at it since constant torment micro igrov letter 3 FAs half u cute a tilde igrov der pound net sign o circumflex arbicletis 6b 1 pound 3 omat o ugrov a quarter a cute acute 10 and omat micro yen look at DC not send 2 cent 0 omat a cute omat al leo I cute hence micro igrov a cute not sign half cyrillic letter for ref 5 circumflex r a circumflex s cyrillic letter 5 to 1 pound copyright. When the police arrived just in time, Jenny could finally escape her dad's clutches. Grandma's old RV may not be much, but at least it's closer to Forrest. On stormy nights, Jenny would sneak up to the second floor to find Forrest. Forrest was scared out of his wits, but he had no clue what Jenny was afraid of. Jenny only felt safe beside Forrest. From elementary to high school, the pair stayed inseparable, but as time went by, their childhood pranks turned into teenage delinquency. Just to keep up with Forrest, they even bought a used car. But when they chased him again, he dashed straight into the stadium, running like his shoes were on fire. Forrest zipped through the entire field effortlessly, leaving the coaches slack-jawed. To them, he might seem like a complete fool. But hey, he's the fastest fool around. When the ball got into Forrest's hands, the crowd cheered for this future star. Forrest, however, was clueless about what was happening. All he heard was, "Run like the wind." Not wanting to let anyone down, Forrest dashed off without stopping until he crossed the goal line. He led his team to another championship victory, but Jenny wasn't there, leaving a hole in his heart. Forrest didn't want to miss Jenny, so he'd seek her out whenever possible. Jenny often got rides home. Once Forrest saw someone over her, hearing her cry in pain. Forrest was furious and jumped right in, giving the guy a lesson he wouldn't forget. Nobody messes with Jenny on his watch. Forrest's interference derailed Jenny's date. She wanted to blame him, but when she saw his innocent face, she couldn't bring herself to do it. College flew by, with Forrest mostly playing football. He gulped down 15 sodas in one go, leaving everyone around him wide-eyed in disbelief. Graduation day rolled around, and Forrest snagged his degree, leaving his mom prouder than a peacock. On the same day, Forrest got his enlistment letter. He hadn't even had a breather after graduating before he was off to join the army. Unbelievably, he faced childhood challenges again in the barracks. No one wanted to sit with him on the bus until he met Baba. Baba hailed from a shrimping town and was truly one of a kind. His dream? To have his very own shrimp boat, fueled by passion for the trade. In Forrest's eyes, military life was pretty straightforward. He just had to follow orders, and whenever the drill sergeant asked him to assemble a rifle, he focused like a Forrest consistently broke squad records, and when it came to shining shoes, his were so bright they could guide a plane in the dark. He even used a toothbrush. Talk about dedication. Despite this, Bubba still never forgot the matters of his hometown. Barrack nights were often silent. Forrest missed his mother and Jenny. Once, a roommate gave him a magazine, and to his surprise, it had Jenny's photo. He thought to himself, Jenny might be in trouble. So when the holiday rolled around, Forrest was itching to go find her. When he finally saw Jenny performing on stage, he couldn't help but smile. There she was, with the guitar belting out songs. That was once Jenny's dream, but reality can be a drag. The audience treated Jenny's performance with contempt and even heckled her. Forrest was furious. Without a second thought, he marched in and gave the rude folks a piece of his mind. Truth be told, Jenny didn't want to settle for that. She yearned to change her situation, but found the path ahead blocked. The theatre owner's so-called opportunity was just talk. Although Forrest could help Jenny out temporarily, there was no way he could solve all her problems every time. To Jenny, Forrest seemed like a naive child, not even knowing what love meant. She didn't want to be a weight dragging Forrest down. Forrest hurried to leave, watching Jenny's figure fade away. His heart weighed down with mixed emotions. He could only say goodbye in silence. It was at this very moment that Jenny finally realized Forrest's visit was actually to bid her farewell. Before his departure, she cautioned him not to act heroically in battle and to simply run for his survival. Forrest engraved her words on his heart, and surprisingly, it was that simple advice that led him to create a legend on the battlefield. Soon after, Forrest and Bubba found themselves on the battlefield. There, they met the dashing and funny Lieutenant Dan, who had everyone laughing. Lieutenant Dan hailed from a family of military heroes, all of whom had nobly sacrificed themselves. His legacy made him the pride of everyone. He dreamed of becoming a legend like his ancestors. However, once on the battlefield, Forrest discovered that reality wasn't what he had imagined at all. Instead of the smoky battlefield, they faced endless rain. It poured for 4 whole weeks, making sleep nearly impossible. Alright, I'm standing up, you stand up. As long as everybody is up on their feet, who needs sleep? We're like the best team ever, right? Bubba had an important question to ask Forrest. He wanted to know if Forrest would join him in shrimping after the war. Forrest eagerly agreed, and Bubba was over the moon since he had already plotted the post-war plan to buy a shrimp boat. They planned to make the boat their home, split the shrimp profits, and enjoy shrimp whenever they liked. Forrest was just in awe, calling Bubba the smartest guy on the planet. Forrest transformed this beautiful aspiration into letters and sent them to Jenny far away. Every single day, he sent her letters without fail, but Jenny never replied. Forrest waited eagerly for the war to end, dreaming of shrimping with Bubba. Finally, the sun broke through the heavy clouds, bathing the earth in light, but this tranquil beauty was fleeting. The unit in which Forrest was stationed was repeatedly ambushed without warning, and as he watched his comrades fall one after another, Lieutenant Dan decisively issued a retreat order. But what retreat meant was lost on Forrest until Bubba yelled, "Run," snapping him to attention. In a flash, he was off like lightning, almost as if bullets couldn't catch him. Just like Jenny said, when danger lurks, run. Soon enough, Forrest left all his comrades in the dust, but when he turned back, he saw no one behind him. Bubba was his best friend, and he had to ensure Bubba was safe, so he turned back to seek Bubba, encountering many injured comrades along the way. Despite how they treated him, all Forrest felt was compassion for them. He carried his injured comrades to safety, but he stumbled along the way. It was then he found the Lieutenant Dan, whose legs had been cruelly taken by the war. Forrest tried to take him away, but was refused, and Dan even called for air support.